So do you see a future where, Bitcoin's kind of coming in as a gold 2.0 narrative, a superior store of value to gold? Do you see a future where Bitcoin not only becomes a store of value, but becomes a money and in a way competes with fiat money? And do you think fiat money and Bitcoin is going to coexist, or do you think eventually, fiat money will all inevitably become hyperinflated by corruption, and the only incorruptible money, Bitcoin, remains? Or how do you see that playing out with in terms of governments and fiat?
We just need to look at history. There's been 600
Yep.
fiat currencies, and 98% of them failed, and the only ones that haven't failed are still going, and that's the US dollar, the pound, and the euro. Average fiat currency lasts somewhere between 60 and 70 years. The US dollar in its current form is 60 years old. Pound in its current format is 300 years old. Both of them have lost 99.9% of their value over those time periods as well. So the US is just like floating at the moment. They want to remove the debt ceiling and just print their way to the moon. I mean, they're going to make a pyramid of $1 notes and walk to the moon at this stage.
Yep.
It's just ridiculous. Bitcoin versus fiat. It may not die, but it will be replaced with a cashless format. That cashless format will be some sort of tokenized, CDBC or whatever it's called. If they actually go through and call it Bitcoin, I may have to leave Britain because that's just embarrassing. Call it like DGBP or something like that, or call it crypto GBP, or just anything but Bitcoin, because it sounds like an ICO from 2016. I think fiat, as we know it, will be replaced with a better digital variant. Will it curb, money laundering and etc.? Maybe, maybe not. Will it curb cash in hand sales? No, because if we can still do wallet to wallet transfers, that's still cash in hand. It's just not linked to a sale or an invoice. Will it, keep the government politicians in check? I believe it will, because I think right now what they don't know is how many of these pounds are actually in existence. How many US dollars are actually in existence? And the problem with the banking system,
supply is not auditable.
It's not auditable. Yeah, you've got a serial number, but how many of them are destroyed and how many of them are not? You've got the digital copy, which is in the banking system, which can be leveraged at 10 to 1 per bank. So you actually don't know how many, number of digital ones there are versus the ones you're printing every year. You're like, well, we need to print this many of them because we're assuming 20% get lost and burned and damaged, and we're assuming this many come back. So we need to make up the difference. Oh, and we're going to print an extra 3 trillion this year as well. So they kind of don't even have an idea between the digital copy and the physical format, which is the source of truth. And with banks able to do this freely, however they like, and charge people fees on overdrafts for money they don't have, that's just wacky tobacco.
Yeah.
All of those kind of issues go away when you use some sort of tokenized digital version. So I think it'll clean up a lot of things. I think it's going to be a very difficult path to do a full conversion, and it's going to be one of those kind of 5-10 year kind of plans. But I think Bitcoin will complement all of those. If they want to take a large stash of Bitcoin to prop it up and actually make it worth something like the gold standard we used to have. It can be something like that. We're obviously going to have CDBC pairs or central bank pairs for multiple currencies, and whoever wants to create those liquidity pools, more connections into Bitcoin makes Bitcoin a reserve currency. But it might be the Chinese that beat everyone to it. They've been experimenting with their digital yuan now for 7 years. They've got integrations into WeChat, and WeChat's used for nearly everything in China. So they've got the best head start from everyone. Sweden ain't that far behind. Sweden is 85% digital payments. And parts of Europe are all, there are some people that will shop on certain websites because it supports their chosen digital wallet. It may be like AdPay or Pandora or whatever it's going to be. But they'll use those payment wallet apps over traditional banking or traditional cards because they're just better.